So, I got called out by Maven.
Courtesy from Steven Mackie, and he titled it, "Did Maven Lie About Steroids on Piers Morgan?" Now, I did Piers Morgan's show a few months back, and the subject was Vince McMahon. And obviously, steroids came up during this discussion, but I don't quite remember what I said. Let's find out.
He was saying on Piers Morgan Uncensored, and then when I went to watch the video that on his channel, that there were some things that were there were some differences there in his story.
So what Eagle-Eye Mackie would fish out was a few inconsistencies between the steroid video I put out on our channel early on and the video I did when I was on Piers Morgan Live. On our steroid video, I talked about this WWE top official who hinted around about talking to the boys about that special creatine, steroids, that guys were on. I asked around, said, am I hearing what I think I'm hearing? They informed me, yes, you are. So at that point, I wanted to do the safest thing possible, but get the result they were looking for. Later, when I was on Piers Morgan arguing with Phil Mushnick, a man I have never and still have yet to meet, I would not say that.
I have openly on my channel admitted steroid use during my time in the WWE, and no one from the WWE made me do it. I did it all on my own.
Why did you take them? If you didn't need the steroids, if you didn't need the steroids, why did you?
Vanity.
Why did you take the steroids?
Vanity.
If there wasn't a requisite.
Vanity.
I'll give Mr. Mackie credit here. He is right. I did leave it out. I said my excuse on Piers Morgan for my own steroid use was vanity. And although that is true, I did like the way I looked when I was roided out of my mind. The fact of the matter is the reason I got on him for the first time ever was because of the job I had in the WWE and because I felt like I was getting marching orders from the office. I still maintain I don't blame the WWE one bit for a decision I fully made. They presented me with an option that, truth be told, deep down, I wanted to hear. I wanted the excuse to get on. And Mr. Mackie, he called me out on it.
You know you've made it as a content creator when you're getting a shout out, probably from the most successful wrestling YouTuber. I mean, so you know that was pretty cool to see, and it did kind of surprise me a bit. But when I saw that video though, it came up, I got caught out line. It was like a part of me thought, is he gonna call me out here? And I had to watch it in full. So no, fair play to Maven with that. And Eagle-Eyed Mackie, that's a huge pop. With that huge pop. Eagle-eyed eagle. That's gonna be a title for a song, right? That was funny. But yeah, you know what? You know, with that video, I mean, Maven does really an excellent job. And with my video that I did previously, there was no shade on Maven. I mean, if anything, Maven's inspired me to do more content and try and be consistent with content creation. And Maven throughout that video with comments and things that he was it was bringing up, with other, people, podcasters or just people commenting like trolls in his on the comments in his videos. It ranged from, kind of being stuff that was like funny to quite strong, like maybe just people that were jealous, bitter trolls, people having a laugh. But with my video, did Maven lie about steroids and Piers Morgan? Yes, it's those kind of titles. You know what I mean? You're trying to, you're trying to provoke that reaction. It's all about SEO with YouTube, and it's getting getting the most views you can. The algorithm and all that good stuff. I certainly wasn't, talking bad on Maven's name. But with Maven, I mean, he addressed my points that I made in the video, saying, there were inconsistencies from that one of the early videos he had about, admitting about taking steroids, to then, doing that interview on Piers Morgan Uncensored when there was a bit of a clash with him and, Phil Mushnick. So the inconsistency was by, yours truly, Eagle-Eyed, was, him saying that it was, someone like an official talking to him about, like that thing about, the special creatine, as he said. And then later on, though, he said it was no one made him do it. this is on Piers Morgan Uncensored. No one made him do it. It was solely his choice, and he said it was like it came down to vanity. And yeah, certainly vanity would play a part of it. So I think from, there were some other ones that seemed a bit harsh, like Joe Cronin's show, because he was saying all that stuff in regards to Just Incredible. I guess he felt he gave him very much a free pass to just lie and bullshit when they did that interview. But it seemed like Maven very much owned everything, and he addressed everything there, which I very much respect, because when people don't address these things and acknowledge them, there's a little bit to me of kind of like a bit of an ego there. And then if you're not acknowledging things that when people are calling you out for, that to me, you're kind of, you can be losing some credibility there. But with Maven addressing those points, fair play. That's cool. What you're saying. I mean, I think the person, if anything, all those people that he was like bringing up and mentioned, the YouTubers and stuff, I think he was the most fair with me. I think, with like saying, yeah, you know what, fair play. You saw that, and you were right. And yeah, that's a thing. I mean, but I can understand certainly where he was coming from, was that in the video he mentioned a story about a top official saying that to him, but ultimately, no one put a gun to his head. It was ultimately personal responsibility, and that was very much a thing in the end, that Maven made that choice. He was going to accept full responsibility for that choice to do what he did, and being a professional wrestler. So that's fine. Hey, that's totally cool. There was never a beef there with Maven. I like him. He's a very engaging guy, charismatic guy. There's a reason. I think that's got to be part of the reason, kind of like his appeal there, as to why his channel has grown. And yeah, I mean, no issues there, no problems. And I appreciate that, Maven, because a small channel like mine, you didn't have to do that. That got me about 400, not 400, about 150 more subscribers. So, I got the rub. Fair play, Maven. You owned up to that stuff. You take full accountability and responsibility for your choices, and you've had problems before when like stuff, prescription medication, stuff like that. You weren't playing the blame game, blaming WWE, blaming this guy, blaming that guy. You very much took that head on yourself, and I respect the hell out of people who do that. You know what I mean? I really, really do. And you're a cool guy, and there was no issue, no problem there. You gave me a shout out. I appreciate that very much. And also, on a lighter note, you pronounced my Scottish last name exactly. It was spot on. English people can't even get my last name right, for crying out loud. People in England don't always get it wrong. They say Mackie. But fair play, Maven, though, and I appreciate that. And very much just keep, no beef here, and really do wish you well. Continued success with your YouTube channel. But that's me for now, guys. But you know what to do. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button, and feel free to leave a comment. Let me know what your thoughts were. And did you see that Maven video? Did you see the bit there about, bringing me up and other people, I guess that caught him out lying? But feel free to leave a comment and give me your take on what your thoughts were with all that stuff with Maven and Eagle-Eyed Mackie. But that's me for now, guys. Thank you very much. Cheers.